What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Edison Club. Today I am bringing you 3 of the top 4 finishing deck lists from the Nintendo Switch tournament at Picante Trading Card Games in Greensboro, North Carolina this past weekend. However, I do not have the first place winning deck list, as the gentleman who did win normally does not care to do deck profiles. I will go ahead and tell you guys that winning deck was Diva Zombie. So we're going to go ahead and jump right here. In second place, we have This Is That Ice Cold. It's Zach Pfeiffer, This White Gold. That went together much better than I thought that it would. But second place, Hero Beat by Zach Pfeiffer. So let's go ahead and jump right into this deck profile, guys. Before we get started, as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Really just motivates me to keep going, making more content like this for you guys, and trying to help grow the Edison community. So, starting things off here, we have one Crusader of Endymion, which is the honorary elemental hero Neos Alias. Moving on, we have a one Cyber Dragon in the main deck, followed by one elemental hero Captain Gold, 3 of the man himself, Elemental Hero Neos Alias, and double Elemental Hero Ocean. We have the 1 Elemental Hero Stratos, one's all we can play, one's all you need, 2 copies of Honest, 1 copy of Morphing Jar in the main. This is very different from what most Hero Beat deck lists use, but when you're playing a deck that inherently plays a lot of trap cards, Morphing Jar can be a card in the mid to late game when you're down on resources that really helps you key up and draw and kind of reset the game state in your favor, because most of the time you're drawing all real cards, you're drawing trap cards, and you're drawing things like Miracle Fusion. Moving on, we have 2 copies of Snowman Eater. Going into the spell cards, we have 2 E-Emergency Call, followed by 1 Future Fusion and 3 Gemini Spark. After that, we have 3 copies of Miracle Fusion, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Skyscraper. That rounds off the spell cards, guys. Going into the trap cards, we have 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 Call of the Haunted, triple copies of Dimensional Prison, 2 copies of Hero Blast, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Skill Drain, 1 Solemn Judgment, 2 copies of Starlight Road in the main deck. We were never losing to Heavy Storm at this tournament. 1 copy of Torrential Tribute, and 1 Trap Dust Shoot. Show me that hand. Going into the side deck, we have the other Cyber Dragon, 3 copies of Fossil Dyna, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 Soul Release, 1 Super Polymerization. We're going to make everyone in the mirror match hate us, and every frog player, you can look at their board and you can see their frogs becoming absolute zero. Next, we have 1 Dust Tornado, 3 Light Imprisoning Mirror, just to make sure that you have the Lightsworn matchup covered, and 2 Royal Oppression. Going into the extra deck here, we have 3 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, 1 Cyber Twin Dragon, 3 Elemental Hero Absolute Zero, 3 Elemental Hero Gaia, 1 Elemental Hero Terra Firma, 1 Super Alloy Beast Raptinius, and 2 copies of Stardust Dragon. So that rounds off second place. Congratulations to you, Jack, to you, Zach, not Jack. And good job to you. So, moving into third place, we have my friend Brandon Combs, who piloted Gladiator Beast. Gladiator Beast has always been a deck that Brandon has enjoyed, and I'm glad to see that he made it into the top 4 cut playing it. So let's jump into this thing. Starting off, we have 2 Elemental Hero Prisma, 1 Bestiari, 2 Darius, 2 Gladiator Beast Quest, 2 Laquari, 1 Murmello, 1 Rediari, 1 Secutor, and 3 Test Tiger to round off the main deck. No Sam Knight and no Rescue Cat in this deck list. I really do dig it. I hate drawing the targets for Rescue Cat. We have 3 copies of Book of Moon, 3 copies of Gladiator Proving Ground, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 My Body as a Shield, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, and triple copies of Shrink. Moving on into the trap cards, we have 2 Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 Call of the Haunted, 2 Dimensional Prison, 3 Gladiator Beast War Chariot, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Solemn Judgment, 1 Starlight Road, 1 Torrential Tribute, and 1 Trap Stun. That rounds off the main deck at a solid 40 cards. Going into the side deck, we have 2 copies of Consecrated Light, 2 copies of Cyber Dragon, the extra Ready Ari for playing against the graveyard-centric decks like Lightsworn and Zombies. Going into the spells, we have 1 Cold Wave, 1 Lightning Vortex, the second My Body as a Shield, 2 copies of Twister to be able to out stuff like Skill Drain and Royal Oppression. Going into the trap cards, we have 2 copies of Light Imprisoning Mirror, 2 Mask of Restrict, and then the second Starlight Road. Going into the ever so important extra deck for Gladiator Beast, we have triple copies of Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, 3 Gladiator Beast Gazares, 3 Gladiator Beast Heraclinos, and then we have 1 Black Rose, 1 Colossal, 1 Goyo, and triple Stardust Dragon. So this is the third place finishing Gladiator Beast deck. Let's go ahead and look at another Gladiator Beast deck piloted by my friend Kiefer Dowell. This deck managed to take 4th place at this event. Right off the bat, you notice that this deck is 45 cards, which I noticed immediately and thought that this was very different. Now, you have to take into consideration that this deck list is playing things like Sam Knight, it is playing things like Secutor, Rescue Cat, and some of those cards sometimes you just do not want to see in your opening hand. Therefore, playing a higher deck count oftentimes mean that you see those cards less and less. So I definitely think that the theory is there. Let's go ahead and jump in here and see what Kiefer played. We have one main deck Cyber Dragon, bonus points because in game one you can use this guy with Prisma to be able to just absolutely ruin a machine player's day. So 2 copies of Prisma, 1 Bestiari, 2 Darius, 2 Equest, 2 Laquari. These ratios don't really ever change much across the board for GB. 1 Mermello, 1 Rediari, 1 Sam Knight, 1 Secutor, 1 Rescue Cat, and triple Test Tiger rounds off the monsters in this 4th place finishing Gladiator Beast deck. Moving into the spell cards, we have 1 Cold Wave, 1 Emergency Call, 1 Gladiator Proving Ground, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 MST, 1 Rhoda, triple copies of Shrink alongside triple copies of Smashing Ground. Going into the trap cards, we have 2 Bottomless Trap Hole, 3 Dimensional Prison, 1 Dust Tornado, 3 War Chariot, 1 Solemn Judgment, 2 Starlight Road, 1 Trap Dust Shoot, and 2 Trap Stun. Going into the side deck, we have 1 copy of Cyber Dragon, the 2nd copy of Ready R yet again. Interesting take here, we have 1 copy of Andal. I've seen a lot of lists play this card. I'm not exactly sure why it's there. The thing that I can figure out in most situations is that if you are under Skill Drain, this is the highest GB that you can tag out into while Skill Drain is on the field. So maybe that's it. Hopefully Kiefer comments on this video and gives us some insight on this one. That rounds off all the monsters in the side deck. Next, we have 1 Brain Control, probably more or less for the mirror match, or just being able to move things out of the way. 1 Giant Trunade, 2 copies of Lightning Vortex, 1 copy of Dark Bribe, the 2nd copy of Dust Tornado, 2 Light Imprisoning Mirrors, 2 copies of Pulling the Rug, and 2 Royal Oppression. Going into the, once again, ever so important extra deck for Gladiator Beast, we have triple copies of Fortress Dragon, triple copies of Gazares, triple copies of Heraclinos, 1 Black Rose, 1 Colossal, 1 Goyo, and triple Stardust Dragon. So, we have 1 Diva Hero Zombie in the top cut, 1 Hero Beat, and 2 Gladiator Beast decks, which rounds off this tournament experience. And congratulations to the victors and all of top 4. This is Mike from the Edison Club, signing out until the next one. Take care, everyone.